Hey, shalom, shalom. All right, shalom. Hey, before I get started, I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, and Bahashem Rakat Kodesh. Double honors unto my apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Peace and safety to all the sincere Akim that's out here pushing this word and truth and in all sincerity. Shalom. And back at it again. I pray that this lesson is informative, edifying in the spirit. I don't have a title for it just yet. It's a few subject matters I was meditating on, and whatever one dominates this will pretty much be the lesson for the day. But, again, shalom to you all. I was having a conversation a couple hours ago with my mother, and she asked me about a book, which I'm gonna look into the book, and it was dealing with, I guess, going into breaking down the different people of color in the Bible. And I had to, of course, check my spirit in the senses of being more patient, because your initial thoughts, of course, as a son and a son, whether it's your father or your mother, is especially as the time that you've been in your walk, is like they'd be one of the first people you tell, and but making long story short, the scriptures say be apt to be ready to give an answer. So I told her I was referencing the fact that the Bible is true Black history, and I use my mother as a personal gauge within this walk of mine, because, when I was telling her certain things, going on spiritual, actually, 15 years ago, literally this time, 15 years ago, this was literally my first time ever, having a conversation with my mother about the Bible, specifically the Bible, in the senses of tying us into it as being the true biblical Hebrew Israelites. And those questions, of course, they've evolved and developed over the years, and the question today was dealing with that. So we were sharing certain points, which goes to show you as well that we're in the time of, Habakkuk, the second chapter. Of course, I'm driving. We'll give or take a run with the 15th. The Lord said He would pour out His word into the world, and His knowledge shall fill this world as the waters fill the seas. So we're in a time now where there really is no denying the truth of the Bible. You can buck up to it, you can rebel, you can even deny, but denying doesn't make it any less true. See, just because everybody is doing something wrong doesn't make it right. And just because nobody is doing what's right doesn't make it wrong, in a sense, And the same thing with the Bible. A lot of people are truly coming to the understanding, truly waking up, truly seeing what we have been annoying this place with. We have been a nuisance, all right, on the planet Earth, all right, specifically here in Babylon the Great, which is America. We've been we are the party poopers. We are the flies at the barbecue, buzzing in your ear, telling you, hey man, you might want to consider this, consider that, look at this, look at that, don't do this. And the thing about it is about becoming conscious of something is you cannot undo that. That's why I said this is not a matter of what's right and wrong at this point. It's a matter of if this is for you or not. The truth is the truth. Okay? The truth of the matter is that the Bible is Black history. Okay? I don't give a damn about your Renaissance period. I don't give a damn about you painting the Lord, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, as a white man, which does not line up with the Bible. These points don't line up. Okay? And I was even speaking to my mother, and I was using this example of, hey, when you go into Songs of Solomon, the first chapter, I want to say the 6th verse, it says Songs of Solomon 1 goes into, it lets you know that this is a Song of Solomon, right? And then once you do that, you're able to understand that this Song of Solomon, he said in the 6th verse, that he is black and comely. This is what King Solomon said, that he was black and comely. Comely means beautiful. So he was literally on his James Brown time. I'm black and I'm proud, or I'm black and beautiful. That's what he was pushing in Songs of Solomon, the 1st chapter. King Solomon was the son of King David, right? Which a lot of you try to use this excuse of when Goliath said that King David was ruddy. Oh, that means he was red, because ruddy goes back to what is that? The Hebrew, you get the mistranslation. See, that's the interesting point. When you so-called Christians and you people talk about mistranslations and things of that nature of the Bible, well, that's one of them. All right. Human, Adama, and Adawam, or these words all are very similar to one each other, right? What is it for Esau? Idumean, right? That's the Greek way. I'm driving, I'm drawing a blank, but I know it. But nevertheless, those two words, people get in the translation, the word for Adam and the word for blood in the Hebrew are a lot alike. So when you see that word ruddy, right, which goes into red, which goes into the color blood, which blood is red, you automatically want to tie that in with Esau, right? Right? Which is not true. Okay? Now, King Solomon was a so-called dark-skinned man, right? Quadar, right? Going into his skin color. So if he was a dark-skinned man, what are the chances of his father as well being a dark-skinned man? King David. King David was a dark-skinned man. Who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, right? It tells you in the book of Revelation that he's from the seed of David, right? When you read Matthew, the 1st chapter, it gives you the genealogy of the Lord all the way. He said, Matthew, if I wasn't driving, I'll pull it. Matthew 1:1 tells you that Yahushua, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ, was the son of what did it say? The son of basically the son of Abraham, all right, and the son of David. Okay? So that giving you a genealogy of the Lord, which cuts this idea of a virgin birth, because women don't create genealogies. Women continue them. Okay? Now, dealing with this point of King David being a man of color, a dark-skinned man, more than likely, like King David or King Solomon being a man of color, a dark-skinned man, right? Yahushua, who the world only calls Jesus Christ, came out of the line of David. Joseph came from the line of David. His father came from the line of David. You can read this all in Matthew, the 1st chapter. So what are the chances of, how did it go from dark skin, I'm black and I'm comely, I'm dark skinned, to now he's white skinned with blue eyes and blonde hair? But this is where you get this is where white supremacy comes into play. But this is where the scriptures tell you that you have inherited a lie, Esau. You've inherited a big lie. Your forefathers told you this bullshit to give you something to believe in, to have hope in, right? But it's all a lie. It's all deception against you and his own people personally. Because they know greatly that the Lord is not a so-called white man. The elite of this world with the most knowledge know that. They know that. This is not something, you always have, you can go look it up yourself, and there's videos of, what's his name? Putin, showing the different Russian icons, which is not even like groundbreaking news. This is not new. But to the masses of the world, I'll give it to you. Sure it is. You may not have heard of the Russian icons. Okay? So again, this knowledge, this Bible, the book, the prophets of old, all right? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, Judah, Benjamin, Levi, Issachar, Manasseh, Naphtali, Gad, Reuben, whatever other tribes I might have missed, were men of color, specifically Negro, Latino, and who you would consider today as the Negro, Latino, and Native American communities. That's what that was. Okay? You don't get a distinction of color in the Bible until Esau comes on the scene. The scriptures in Genesis, the 25th chapter, it didn't describe the color of Jacob. Why didn't the Bible describe the color of Jacob, but it felt the need to describe to us the color of Esau? Why? Well, because the scriptures tell us in the book of Genesis that the Lord formed man from the dust of the earth. Let me tell you. Now let me add this precept. Isaiah the 5th chapter tells us that the Lord planted Israel as a noble vine, right? And he dug up all the what am I trying to say? All the stones and fenced it. He created his garden and he planted Israel within his garden. So to show you that the Lord is very big, that's why the Lord is our husbandry. We're his. Okay? Now, if you've done any base level planting, you planted flowers, planted a plant, planted some seeds into soil. What color soil do you look for? When you're planting tomato seeds or watermelon seeds or squash, zucchini, collard greens, right? Apples, whatever the fuck you're planting. What kind of soil do you plant that in? You're going to plant it in the most richest, darkest soil possible. And the same is what the Lord did when he was creating Israel, specifically man. Well, which man in Israel? Israel is the first one. So man came from the darkness of soil. That's why the majority of people on the planet Earth are people of color. You only have one group of people that are considered clean leopards, which is the Edomites, which is you so-called white people. And you got this big-headed black woman on TikTok talking about Esau is not the so-called white man. You women, man, hey, get back in the kitchen, man. Like, nobody asked you. You women have no place of teaching. This isn't for you in that regard. The Lord is not waking up women to teach a goddamn. The only thing you should be teaching is how to make apple turnovers. That's what you women should be doing. But you online teaching the wrong thing. That's why the Lord, you got false prophets, and a lot of false prophets are women as well. All right? The so-called white man genealogy goes back to Esau. Wasted away is he who came out red as a garment. His skin pigment was taken away, which was the sign of Cain. If you cannot understand how to receive that, that's a personal problem. That is a personal problem. It ain't got nothing to do with me. I don't care. I'm telling it what it is. All right? Moses. How the hell is a white person going to stick their white ass hand in a jacket and it comes out snow as white as snow as a leopard? Please explain that. These are simple things. This isn't like outrageously difficult concepts you should be questioning yourself on your own on this. The scripture, hey, 144, all praise Yahweh Shemi Yahushai. The scriptures, the Lord told Moses that this will be a sign or a token that I'm with you unto the people. And the one of them was that he would stick his hand in his coat, right? And he would pull his hand out, and it would be white as white as snow, like a leopard. The skin pigment would disappear. If a white person stuck their white hand in their jacket and they pulled it out, and it was white still, white as snow, that's like me sticking my black ass hand in my jacket and a black hand come out of it. You gonna be surprised? Okay. No. All right. Almost to where I gotta be at. Okay? These are all multiple examples that the Lord gave us throughout the scriptures as examples or tokens to those that have faith to boost your faith. Okay? Oh, how am I forgetting Revelation, the first chapter? The revelation of Jesus Christ, as the world calls him ignorantly, which we establish in his name is Yahweh Shai. It said John saw his feet, and they were what? They were as copper burnt in a furnace. All right. Now, first of all, copper color, that's already our color. You so-called white people, the color that Jesus Christ is depicted he is not copper colored. Okay? He's not copper colored. Give me 1 second, making this turn. All right. And he had a woolly afro. The only so-called white people that have afros are are the fake Jews. Them JOOs. They do have little Jew froze and shit like, But in all actuality, they don't fit the description. Bear me 1 second. I'll do this in a second. All right. Yeah, verse 12 and 10, and it says, and the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous. Yeah, Miriam, which was Moses' sister, right? Which would have been another dark-skinned woman, went off by talking against Moses, and the Lord cursed her with leprosy. And it says, as Miriam became leprous, white as snow, and Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leopard. Again, another example of a dark-skinned person. So-called white people are clean leopards, according to the Bible. Esau is a clean leopard. There's no rays in his skin. He doesn't have revitiligo or none of that. He is just smooth skin, no pigmentation. Okay? There are endless examples throughout the scriptures. Okay? I'll give you another example. I'm about to close up here. What's his name? King David's son, Absalom. Absalom died behind him being chased he was being chased on a horse. And his hair got stuck in a tree branch, and he basically died, right? He got caught up in the tree. Again, that means he had an outrageous amount of volume, right? Had a lot of volume in his hair for him to be able to get caught up in a tree by his hair. White people hair, that's not white. That's not even show me a white person hair with that much volume. that you riding on a horse, that your hair would be that high above your head that you get caught up in a tree. You can't. For white people to get that much amount of volume, they gotta manipulate it in a way of, they gotta use hairspray, they gotta use a lot of other aspects to get their hair to that point. You think Absalom was using hairspray? He was using a hairspray bottle and mousse to hold his hair up like that? No. Okay? So again, these are all just shooting off random points throughout the scriptures that you got to question the color of this person. Okay? Let me think of some more before I close up here. Oh yeah, Samson and his 7 locks, right? Which we understand that it wasn't dreadlocks, they were just braided hair, seven plaits of 7 portions of braided hair. Please, I've never seen white people walk around with 7 portions of their hair braided up in sections like that. I've never seen a white person do that on a regular, right? They separate their hair into 7 pieces or 7 portions, and then they braid it out. Come on, man. This is a cultural thing at this point. All right? What you got there? Leviticus 13:30. And then the priest shall see the plague, and behold, if it be in sight deeper than the skin, and there be in it a yellow thin hair, then the priest shall pronounce him unclean. All right? Yeah, going into leprosy of the hair. All right? There's leprosy, there's the eye color. Blonde hair is leprosy. All right. Scriptures say, yeah, I was shy. Please show me me. I'm in my 30s. A lot of us men, you'll start getting. Now my beard is nowhere near like Yahweh Shai. In regards to, what am I trying to say? How he had, his gray hairs, his whole hair, his afro, his beard, all that was white, that don't be happening with these white people, man. Please show me a so-called white man in his 30s, early 40s, with a white afro, hair white like wool, and his beard as well. Come on, man. These are all examples that were set out that you're supposed to use to look at the people and say, nah, man. Nah, but that, going back to the point, and I'm going to close up here. And I said to my mother, I didn't say it in these words, but I'm going to say it exactly how I feel right here, is our community, the Hebrew Israelites, we have forced Christianity to answer a lot of questions that they didn't have answers to. We've upped the game, starting with our apostles and elders, in the game of research. They have to research these things. It might seem remedial to me, but these are major things that prove points. You see how I lined it all up? I lined up from King David to King Saul. I'm sorry, not Saul. King Solomon, in Songs of Solomon 1 and 6, speaking about he's black and comely, to Yahweh Shai being prophesied to come out of the line of David, meaning that his fathers came out of the loin of David. So how do you get this? These are all dark. Where did it stop being dark-skinned men and become white-skinned men? Okay. Yeah, see, the water for all these these are all precepts that go into this. The people look at us like we're crazy and we're all, you're just focused in on color. It's there. It's there. We're supposed to focus in on it because it's there. Okay? The only people that tell you that is cooned out niggas and fake ass white supremacy white people that think that they're better than you, but don't want you to ever think that you have something above them. It's just a manipulative tactic, okay? Hey, so with that, I'm gonna close this up. I want to give all the glory and honor to Yahweh, Bahashem Yahushai, Bahashem Rakakwadash. Until next time, Shalom. And the water for all the precepts, the water. Shalom.